Hey guys, welcome to the Rational Optimization Podcast. My guest today is Liwia Tarkowska. She's a student of cognitive science and artificial intelligence, also trainer of BJJ, and the thing that we unplanned talked the most about today, she's a feminist. So today we really talked a lot about feminism, and to be honest with you, I didn't knew that much about feminism before that. And maybe still I don't know that much, but my goal with this podcast is to learn from as many people as possible and get different perspective on different goals. And yeah, this was really interesting and I really learned something new. So I really enjoyed this conversation. I hope you did too. Enjoy. Liwia, you study cognitive science and artificial intelligence, right?
That's correct, yeah.
What made you come here? Like, why did you decide for this? From Poland also.
Oh, why did I come here to Tilburg to study CSAI?
Also CSAI, like the mix.
Okay. Yes, actually, that's a nice story that I told a lot of people.
Yeah.
Because it was kind of a turning point in my life. I came from like humanistic backgrounds and...
What background?
Humanistic.
Okay.
Yeah, so in my high school, you had to choose extended subjects that you want to do. And based on your choice, your place in a class with a certain profile. Mm-hmm. So I chose Polish and history. And I also had a bit of philosophy and law. So all this stuff, very basic math. And I enjoyed it. You know, I love to read books. I love to analyze poems and all of it. But I got a bit anxious about my future. And I decided that I want to change something. And I learned about this amazing cognitive science and artificial intelligence. I was like, okay, that's going to be me. This is something I want to do. This is so new, especially in Poland. You know, no one heard about it. My main focus was cognitive science because this is what I did a bit in my philosophy classes. But I decided that I also want to deepen my knowledge in artificial intelligence. It sounded very, exciting for me and new. So I was like, yes, I'm going to do it. I'm going to grind math for my last year of high school to prepare for it, to, pass the levels that I need to get into this university. And I did, and I'm here, and this was the best decision of my life.
Damn, so you already knew that you want to come here to Tilburg and study this thing 1 year before you finish high school?
Yeah, it was kind of in the second month of my last year, I think, when I decided I want to do cognitive science. Then I started looking out for universities that offer it. There were some choices in Poland, but I also knew that I want to live abroad and, see the world. So, yeah, my second option was in Denmark, but they just offer cognitive science. And this was the only one, I think, that had a bit of both, I think. But yeah, the moment I learned about this, I just was sad that this is my first choice, and I didn't even apply for other universities as a, backup plan.
Damn, so you also knew that you like AI because
yes,
your background is not really AI programming, math focused.
Not at all. I didn't know what AI was really, and I don't know if I should admit to it on podcast when all of my CSAI friends are gonna listen to it, but I think till the first or second year of high school, I thought artificial intelligence is just in science fiction movies, it's these robots that take over humanity and want to destroy us kind of thing. That's more of a fiction. Then we can read about it and hypothesize about it, have philosophical discussion. But I didn't know that this was something real that's all around me that I'm already using in my phone or computer. And then I had to write a paper for a philosophical competition. And there was a list of topics. Yes, still in high school. There was a list of topics, and one of the topic was what would be you think the upgrades of artificial intelligence or the downgrades of artificial intelligence in the future? which direction do you think it's going, and use some philosopher to back you up. And this is the first time when I actually like read into it and discovered that, yeah, it's not just killer robots. It's something more and so complex and interesting, and that soon will become such a like integral part of every human life, basically. So it's like, okay, so I need to study this thing because it's going to become important, and I want to understand it. And you know, with just humanistic backgrounds, I think it would be hard for me as like normal civilian, let's say, to really understand ChatGPT maybe when it came out first. You know, some people that are not in the field. I don't know if you ever talk to someone that doesn't know anything about technology.
Okay.
And when the ChatGPT first came, they were like, "Oh no, this is like the end of like schools and education. This destroys everything. Like we're not needed at all as humans." And I was like, "Guys, it's okay. We don't have to panic. I study about this now. I understand that like things that make it possible to happen." And yeah, this is exactly what I wanted, and what's really valuable for me to understand this process and then decide if I want to do something in it or if I just want to have some sort of control over what's happening to me, even like with data, right? I learned so many things about like my life and how technology has affected me that I don't think I would ever if I didn't have any interest in those topics.
Okay, so yeah, even if you wouldn't work in it, it's like if you have like a philosophical, like it's still good, like to know like what it is, because like for me, I have no real idea. Like since I'm here, like all my friends are CSII now. It's
That's
like
true.
All my podcast guests till now are CSII. Like I think. Yeah, the next one is the first one is not CSII, the guy from the sauna, and it's like so. Yeah, before this I had like no idea. Like it was, I think it's pretty interesting and also important. So you were mostly like cognitive science focused because you like the philosophical part of it, or like
yes, it came mostly from philosophy. My philosophy classes looked at I had those big books, basically like 3 parts of them. They were like this huge, and they covered like, you know, the beginnings of time till nowadays of different philosophical thought, and I had to get familiar with everything.
Damn, nice.
So that was a lot, but it really like inspired some curiosity inside me to get to the like bottom of things, to not just leave myself with a surface knowledge of problems, especially the ones that are very relatable in nowadays, you know?
For example,
like artificial intelligence.
Yeah, okay.
Or cognitive science. Well, it was just some fancy words at first, cognitive science, that I heard. Yeah. And it took some time to understand what it is. And still, I think my understanding back then was very different to what I learned here. But for me, those two comes like together.
Philosophy, you know? And cognitive science?
Cognitive science and artificial intelligence.
Okay, yeah.
I really like this program because I think we need both. You asked me to prepare my my goals of life for this conversation, and I was thinking about it. And one of my goals would be to, you know, bring my humanistic approach to the field of technology. So I think what this program is doing is already kind of making all those people that came here to be data scientists or maybe later software engineers, something like that, they force them to think more philosophically and also from psychological point of view. Should we stop? The lights are cutting off.
The lights will probably go off a few more times.
We're too still.
But it happened with Fuma as well all the time.
Yes.
Yeah. But yeah, it's okay.
Saving costs.
So wait, where were we?
I said that just cognitive science and artificial intelligence, they're a very good pair. And I think it's good that they go together here.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just a bigger approach and lets you see the bigger picture and that everything in the world is connected.
Yeah.
You know?
So your connection, like the reason that you want to study cognitive science was mainly connected to philosophy?
Yes.
Or okay. So how do you feel? Is this working? Like what is this like, do you feel like you learned something relevant for your philosophy?
Not really, if I have to be honest. I'm still waiting for my ethics of artificial intelligence class next year. I'm very excited for that. But it's definitely different than I expected it to be. I expected it to be more philosophical, especially because I learned what cognitive science is and also what artificial intelligence is through philosophy. But we learn more technical stuff. Oops, sorry. And I'm not complaining. It just means that, philosophy is a key to everything. It just opens your doors and just guides you in the right direction. And if I want to deepen my philosophical knowledge, I can always do that. I can take some elective courses. I can read some more books. But yeah, I think right now I'm content with studying more technical stuff. And I'm sure there will always be time in my life to come back to philosophy.
Okay. You also told me before this, I don't know if you want to talk about it, but
of
like
course.
that before in Poland, you had like a pretty feminist podcast, and like what do you mean by the pretty feminist part? Like what is the thing you believe? Is it like ethics connected to philosophy, or like define pretty feminist?
Okay. Well, I believe that feminism is something important, something definitely important for me, but I also want everyone to be feministic. I don't think it's like a political agenda or a belief to force someone into being feministic. It's just seeing everyone as equal. This is what feminism is about. And I had a lot of conversations and talk with people about it because for some reason people hate the word feminism. And I discovered that a lot of people agree with me on my views that people should be equal or women should have rights, right? But they don't want to call themselves feminists. This is like, the word is a nightmare, especially for men. I don't know how you feel about it. I'm very teenager just going into your adulthood. Or me at least, I was very much in favor of like expressing all of my beliefs, but like very radically. I wanted to make change and I wanted to make it now. I hate people who weren't doing anything or weren't saying their opinion. You had to act right now because, you're 15, you have all of these hormones inside of you, and all of the adults are so stupid. They don't know anything. They don't care about anything. So you're alone in this world, and it's just up to you to change it for the better place. So I think that's what I mean by pretty feministic. So I used to have the values that I still have, but a much bigger temper. Okay. Although my podcast was actually more soft than my beliefs, because I was an activist as well. I would go out on the street and protest, and I would argue with people in classes. I would argue with my teachers about like uncomfortable topics as well. But then I realized that a lot of my friends, female friends, who are also like feministic and share my views, they don't want to be so, let's say, aggressive about it. They don't want to go out on the streets when there are like rockets everywhere and it's cold, and to shout and there's like police watching. They don't want to argue with the teachers, but that doesn't make them less of the feminists that they are. And I wanted to create something for people like them. So I started a podcast with my other friend who was also going to the protest, but it doesn't matter. We started the podcast, and it was supposed to be like a soft feministic space, when it was just like two girls talking about how they feel, like, meeting in a park behind school, just laying in a field of like little spring flowers, and talking about how they are excited for this new season, and what they want to do, how they want to develop themselves, how they want to grow together, how they want to inspire the community and other girls. And I think it was important, and it worked, because there were girls from my like classes below me that were coming up to me on the corridor, and it was like, hey, I listened to your podcast, it was so cool. And then when also like the new protest happened, they also wanted to engage. They went on those protests, they speak like on TV to the news about their opinions. So yeah, it was just, I think it lasted a year in total. It was like a little glimpse of action, but it made an impact. And
nice. It's cool. Can you define feminism? Like, if you say that the word is like you asked me what I feel, I think I can understand that many people don't want to be associated. Like it's some, I don't know where, but like subconsciously it has like something on it that the word, but like actually word doesn't matter. Like, what are what does it mean? Like,
what do you think feminism mean?
I think like maybe just the movement that women have the same right as men, like, or like getting women's rights. Yeah, this is the movement's right. Or
but then some people argue like, okay, women have rights already, they can go vote. So what's the feminist up to right now?
Maybe to give, I don't know, like I think.
Sorry to put you on the spot.
to give opportunity, maybe to give like I believe opportunity is good. So maybe in some places there's not equal treatment between men and women, and maybe to fix like those places so the treatment is really equal everywhere.
Yeah.
Is it this or?
Yeah, I think you're like on a good direction. That's also how I would define it. So if you read a little bit about feminism movement in history, we went a long way. There were like 3 waves. And in those waves, like feminists or suffragists, as they were called back in the day, they demanded different things. And, with each wave, they wanted a bit more and a bit more rights. And a lot of people say that like 21st century, there is nothing else from this movement because we got the same rights. But that's still not true. You went all of this way. You had to fight throughout the history to be treated as like a human being, as well as also a civilian, for example. So it doesn't change like this in the mentality of people and in societal rules as well. So there isn't really equality yet as we would want it between women and men. Men will always have, at least right now, have or are in a bit more favorable position. But yeah, it's just about equality, and not just between, women. It's about everyone. It's important to remember that feminism fights for everyone. Like it's not. It's also fights for equality amongst different race or different sexualities. We all want to be equal. We all want the same thing, to be treated at the same level, to have the same chances to achieve the same things in life. So yeah, I think it's a very interdisciplinary fight.
I really agree that everyone should have the same rights. Like, if this is the definition of feminism, like that everyone should have the same rights, and I think that's really cool.
Would you call yourself a feminist?
In this case, I would be a feminist. Yes.
Yes, I'm glad.
The thing. You said that it's like, because like the rights are basically the same. Like there are like for, especially like in Western cultures, like
Yes.
there is not that there is like no race or no there are no like laws that like.
Yeah, I feel like especially in the Netherlands, countries in Western Europe, they like to say that they solve sexism, they solve racism, and they solve homophobia, and now we can all coexist here peacefully. But that's just not true, just even saying that, especially as a government of a country, is just kind of shutting down the problem and saying, there's no issue. We solved it. Okay, we believe in your rights, but it's done already. When in reality, it's not. It's something rooted deeply into societal norms. And we still have the right to fight for it and to educate people about it and to protest on the street whenever we feel like we're not really that welcomed as people say we are.
But how do you like I understand that like protests and stuff is like really helpful, especially if they are not the same rights. Like for example, when women weren't allowed to vote, like protest is like a perfect way to like get this right. But you really think through a protest you can change like people's mind? Like, do you think people change if you say it's like deep in the society? Like, do people like this deep in the society? Do you change this by a protest? Like.
Yes, I think I do. I can bring you an example of not women's strikes or protests, but of climate change protests. And like, I don't know if you heard about Fridays for Future.
Yes.
Okay, yes. But for people who don't know, it was started by Greta, of course. And it was the idea that each Friday of the month, or like every certain month, people like students from school would skip classes and go on the streets and say that they care about climate and do like a peaceful demonstration and showing that there's no reason for them to care about their education if they feel unsafe about their future on this planet. Right? So we also have this initiative in my city, Fridays for Future. And I participated in a very first one of those things. I even have to go to a different city, like a bigger city next to mine, because mine wasn't yet engaged in it. And then for a next edition, my city started doing it, so I could participate more locally. So I observed how this demonstration changed with every iteration, let's say. And you could really see that from like a little group of maybe 20 people, a change of people just covering a whole street and just whole schools coming from different neighborhoods. You didn't even have to text your friends from different schools. You would just like see the familiar faces there. And it was incredible, and it was so inspiring to see that it does make change. It's like slow change, and at first people were very like, oh, it won't matter that you're there, no one will even notice you. But, after some time, the radio starts showing up to this demonstration, then the TV. So our voices were recorded and put in the world. And I think it's just like the collective responsibility in all of this stuff. And even if it doesn't change laws, or the big companies will like still use too much oil, then at least you get the sense that you're not alone in this, that other people feel the same way as you do, that you're not crazy for worrying about like the future of our planet, or for human rights, or for women's rights, whatever battle you're fighting. You're not alone of this. There's like the crazy amount of people that as concerned as you, and they're also scared that they're alone. And this demonstration, because you don't need to know anyone. You don't need to have a friend to go to the demonstration. And just see all of this support of strangers that believe in the same cause. I think this is what can really move mountains, Would you agree?
No. No, because it's like, I think it can move something in terms of laws, maybe, if you want to really show like, okay, there are people here that have like an opinion. There are a lot of people like, okay, but like also maybe this Fridays for Future, this like, if they wanted to change like laws for people in like in the country, and they say like, okay, please ban like, I don't know, like stop the fossil fuel stuff, then this could maybe change something. But like the thing you said, that is like the underlying deep thing in the society, I don't think that you change this via protest, because like I don't even know if you can really change this, because like the old people, like if you say like for feminism or for like racism, like the old people that have like racist beliefs, and or like not even strong, but like this underlying like maybe racism, like by going on the streets, there are like a lot of young people that are all not racist, like, and they're all like, nice, we are together. And of course I think this is nice, like you have your friends and you're like, I'm not alone in this, like we're all fighting for equality. But I don't really know that you like this underlying thing that this changes. I don't even know if you can change it. Maybe you have to just wait out.
Of course, there are people who have their beliefs and they'll never change their beliefs. Doesn't matter of their age, gender, whatever. They're just there's this group of people, and you have to accept it, that they will have those views no matter what, no matter scientific papers you give them, no matter how many demonstrations you have. They'll just be like this. And there's a group of people that no matter what will fight for their beliefs as well, and demonstrate and try to act, and or like be on your side, like always and forever. But there's this third group in the middle that's actually pretty big, which is just people who didn't really care or didn't really think about it before, or they're just undecided. And I think those people are the ones targeted by those kind of demonstrations, because then they see it and it's just like, thought-provoking. They start thinking about it. It's like, oh, I wasn't aware that this issue was even there in the first place, or that so many people care about it, then maybe I should also care about it. And then they would join either like the people that don't change their beliefs, or, the people that want to fight for them. But yeah, I think they're also the reason why we still have those old rules, even though we think we live in such a developed world right now. But some of the mechanisms are still pretty historic,
What do you mean, for example? Because
like patriarchy, racism.
What do you mean by patriarchy? Like, okay, maybe I don't have the perfect view on it, but it's like... It's
just, those rules that we came up with so long ago that ruled our society, and we think of them as the way the word is. So that, I don't know, only a man could be a king, only a man could be a president, only a man could be a CEO of a company, right? And okay, it's changed now. Now women have a right to be the CEOs or queens or anything they want. But somewhere, like, you know, in those rules, there's still not, it still isn't seen as something normal for them to be. It's like an exception. It's like, oh my God, look at her. She's a CEO of this huge company and she's like a woman. How is she doing this? Meanwhile, you don't look at, I don't know, Mark Zuckerberg and be like, oh my God, how did he do it? He's just a male. Oh, that's crazy, right? He broke all of those, you know, norms and stereotypes, and he did it, and he climbed the ladder, and he's on top, but he's just a male. Like, you see, the narrative is still very shifted and very different. And I think it's like that in states like that, even though the like actual rules and rights have changed, is because of the undecided people that don't see the problem and don't think about the problem. So they allow the people that are racist or misogynistic to still play those like evil cards, kind of.
But what exactly is the problem? Because like that people are like, oh, it's a woman that is a CEO. That is a rare thing. It is true. It's not. I think most of CEOs are probably still men, and probably it will stay this way. I don't know, like because of hormones and stuff. I don't know if possible. We can. I didn't research too much about it, but what exactly is the problem if people say like, oh, this is rare? Like, this doesn't change anything. Like, as a woman, you have the right to become a CEO, to become a president. But do
you have the same chances?
You mean that like people have prejudice and therefore they don't give you the same? But do you think like, okay, let's say this is a problem. Do you think a protest would change something about it? That like, because like I don't think if there are like this difference in chances would come from prejudice inside people. That like the people say like, oh, I believe that men are better CEOs than women, and therefore I'm gonna hire a man as a CEO for this company. Do you think that a protest will change that? Or do you think you can even change that? Yeah.
Because I believe that there is a lot of people that think that a man is a better CEO and that will hire a man because they never thought about why they think this way. And if we protest or educate, because I also know that a lot of people don't really like the protest ideas, but there are many ways to change it. You can educate, you can have like social media campaigns, you can have some marketing campaigns with posters that are less just informative about, you know, issues all around the cities. The message is what's important, and that this message will somehow get to those people that never thought of it because of how our world function, which just sees a man as a natural leader. And then someone will tell you, hey, actually, that's not entirely true. And women can be as good as leaders as men are. So maybe think about it again. And they will. And they at first will disagree. And they will see another protest. And they will read another book. And maybe then they will have a daughter. And they will meet a very inspirational woman in their life, and they will understand, like, they have a point. Maybe what I was thinking wasn't that correct, and they will change the way they behave, because I believe that they don't hate women, right? Entirely. It's not that they don't want equal rights. It's just the way that they were brought up, maybe educated so far. And now we are here to tell them that there might be some, you know, holes in their education that they have, and some different perspective that they never noticed or discovered.
Okay, so you say that there are prejudices in society, like there's and through demonstrations or different like similar stuff, you can raise awareness so people know like, maybe my belief that is like this unconscious belief is maybe not really true, and I can. So this way you create more equality. Yeah.
In a perfect word, I think that's how it would work.
Okay. I don't know if I have a real opinion,
right?
a real opinion on this now, because I didn't think about this too much. I really agree that all people should have the same chances, but I think it's super hard to make this a reality, because like, especially where we live, all people like by law have the same chances for pretty much everything. And
Theoretically.
Theoretically. But if you say the problem is prejudice, it's so hard to change people's belief. Like it's and even if like
it's a whole machinery behind all of this, and there's so many factors that would spend hours if we had to talk about it right now. But can I ask you a question now? Okay, so did you ever thought of reading or educating yourself more on those different perspectives of other people or on minorities?
If I ever thought of, like, I think I would not, because I don't believe, like, I believe that people should have the same rights, and I don't believe that, like, I believe that I want to judge person by person. I don't want to judge a person by like their skin color or their gender or whatever. But I have goals and I have like stuff that I want to achieve. So I don't have like just like if I would have infinite time, I would read all the books in the world. But like, why should I read books that tell me that like everyone is equal when I believe this? Anyway,
it's not about reading books telling you that everyone is equal. It's about just learning about the perspective of other people, because it might be hard right now. I mean, I'm reading books about different minorities because I'm also not in their position. I believe everyone should be equal and they should be equal to me, but I can never actually know like what they're feeling or what kind of position they're fighting from. So it's good to reach out for books, Instagram accounts that now have a lot of information and context, articles, I don't know, historical figures, and read more about them. And I don't know, it's, for me, this is important to, because my goal is to also, empower others. And maybe that's what's different. Because, I just want to know how I can, through my actions, help other people. My goals aren't related to just self-development. I think I always had a passion of helping people in a way of educating them. And it could be like, a role of a teacher, a professor, a jiu-jitsu coach, whatever. I just like sharing knowledge. And I think knowledge is beautiful and learning is beautiful. And I wish everyone could have the same access to it. And I know that's not true. So maybe my goal would be to grant this access or like work towards granting this access for everyone. And I understand that this is not your goal, but just something to have in mind that those possibilities exist. And it's sometimes good to look at the world from a different perspective. That's like completely different than yours. And even though you might like not agree with it, because it's not about like agreeing or disagreeing, I think it's a good mind exercise as well, and will help you see more details in everyday issue. And then ultimately, I believe it will also help you in your, way of self-develop and achieve your goals.
Okay. So you think that, or you say that learning about other groups, learning about minorities, they're like, for your goal to empower other people, it's really nice, because if you want to help other people, you have to know at which point they are. So this is clear.
I realized this while I was talking, that maybe it's just connected to my goal.
yeah, I understand. And also for other people, I agree. It's like good to know where other people are at, but I also like, it depends. I don't think everyone should read like everything about every minority, because people have to, like, if everyone would do that, then nothing else would get done. Like,
Okay, can I ask what your goal is then? Because this is kind of what our podcast was supposed to be about, right? Goals and hopes and dreams.
But also stuff that is interesting. And I think this is interesting, so we started talking about this.
I'm glad. No, I want to come back with this, but I want to understand also what your goal is and where you're going from, because we don't know each other for that long. No. So I think it would be also like, help me.
Okay, I basically have an argument for, like, okay, my goal is to search for objective meaning, something that is objectively meaningful. And I didn't find anything yet. I searched for it for a year, a little more, and the only thing that I found that is objectively meaningful is searching for something that is objectively meaningful.
Okay.
So what I'm doing is I'm trying to spend all my efforts on searching for something objectively meaningful, and a little bit also on being happy and enjoying, like, I don't want, like, I think I probably will search for it until I die, because I think there probably is no objective meaning. So I think probably nothing matters. But there's the possibility that something matters, so I will search for this. And it's pretty likely that at one point I'm going to die and I haven't found it. And I just want to be happy. Like, I want to be happy on the way. So this is like my second goal. It's like a little bit on the side, that I also want to learn to enjoy the way.
Okay. Yeah, that's very nice. I especially like the enjoying the way and the process thing. No, it's very cool. But I want to ask you, if you're looking for, objective meaning and emphasizing of objective, don't you think what I said really comes in handy? Because, you find objectiveness through learning different perspective.
Nah. But like, objective, like, this kind of objective means, like, okay, I see also also the view of another person, but like this, like, my search for objective meaning is deeply, deeply philosophical. So it's not only humans. Like, it's if you really look from above, like, what is all things considered the most rational thing to do? This is like, this is actually, like, this is the question. And so of course I'm looking from my human perspective. Like, I can't not look from a human perspective, but I try to find the thing that is the most meaningful that a human can do with their life. And I don't think that, like, looking at, like, the disadvantages that a minority has, or like at the the perspective of a minority will is like,
okay, but it's not only about minorities, and it's about just learning the way of other cultures. And I don't know, for me at least, it really fits with your goal, to learn history of people that live at the different time of history, at different space of the earth, and what they went through, and how the world treated them, what were their beliefs, what's their religion, what's their tradition, where does it come from. There's also a lot of politics that's shaped that, especially when you look back into history. Now we can assess that, better from our point of view. And I don't know, for me, if I was searching for objective meaning, that would be the first step to first master the human perspective from all the humans and then go like, step above. But you may disagree with me because I'm just hearing about this.
Actually, I understand what you mean, and I'm like everything I said. It's not that I don't like I really like going into different people's. For like I had history major in high school as well. I really like history. It's like it's not I also like okay. I can't say that I read books about it, but I listen to books about it, and I also or like book summaries or stuff. So I really like this. Like it's but if you really want to find like objective meaning, and also like with different people, like the thing I like most is conversations. So that's why I just invite random people and like talk to them and what they believe.
I'm a random person. Oh, the lights cut off again.
No, but that's why I talk to random people in the sauna, and like it's like of course, like that's why I'm here. Like it's not the only reason I'm here, but it's like super cool that I hear there are so many people from different like countries that you can talk with. But for the specific search for objective meaning, I don't think that this is the way, because like for the search there are so much like deeper questions, like for like consciousness. You don't learn about consciousness by just learning from different about different cultures. Like of course maybe there is some knowledge in there, but if I want to understand consciousness, I shouldn't try to understand different cultures. I should try to understand consciousness. And if I find that like a different culture is like helpful for this, like I want to like I try to clearly define the goal. Like my goal is to find objective meaning, and then I try to find the best way to follow this goal. And if in this way I find out that it's helpful to learn like a different person's perspective, like for example like a meditation retreat or something, like Buddhism. I don't know. It's like it's like a different people's perspective, and then I will go in there and learn this and try to understand it. But I don't think that just like that I just like to make sure. Like yeah. I really try to focus on the goal, and when I see it's useful, then I will do it. But I won't like try to find out as much as possible about any culture and everything, because like there's no stopping. Like there are so many nice things that you can do in life, and I think you should focus on the thing you want, like on the main goal. And yeah.
Okay, well, I think that's very interesting then, and it's, I don't know, showed me how different people as well we are, because you're very goal oriented, as you just say, and you just like have a straight line.
Exactly.
And through that straight line, you can explore more of the word as like, the notes connection, like, but where it's your goal leads you. Whereas me, I would say that I just like wander around the world, and I just want to explore everything possible. Just, get out of my comfort zone and go study artificial intelligence in a different country or something, or, read books about topics that are very far away from me, in hope that I will find my life goal through that. It's kind of the opposite of your approach. I'm just like grasping different stuff that interests me around me, that I'm curious about and I want to explore more. And I believe that will lead me to my goal in life, and would lead me in the right place where I'm supposed to be.
I feel it. Yeah, it's the same. 100%.
Do you understand it?
Yeah, it's pretty much the same I did before I found my goal. Like, now I have my goal. My goal is just what I said, to find to search for objective meaning and to be happy on the way. And like through other little goals that derive from this, but it's like it's not. Those are just like basics, like to be healthy and stuff. But this is because you need this. But like the main two goals are those two. And since I have those goals, I really focus on them. But before this, I was also wandering around. I took my bicycle. I rode 5,000 kilometers to North Cape and back. I met a lot of Swedish, Norwegian people, and like traveling around the world. I didn't travel really around the world. Like
But you traveled.
Europe, yeah, Europe. Like meeting different people, trying different things, and like experimenting, like this thing you said, reading different books, like without really knowing. Like I read books about meditation, and then like my next book was the book about note taking, and you know where the book about note taking, this led me to discover my note taking system, and with this, I really found like I was always asking, okay, what is the best thing you can do in life, and always like trying around, but then, yeah. Now I really define it that way. So now it's like a real clear-cut goal, and this is why I go so hard on it. But I understand, like, if you don't have like one defined goal, it's the same I did. Like, just,
do you feel like you're in the right place right now?
Yes.
Okay.
100%. Because the people here are so amazing. And they're like, 1 year before I came here, I want to ask you more questions, but I'm just gonna tell
okay.
you. 1 year before I came here, I essentially, like in the moment I like realized that this is my goal, and this note taking system and stuff. This is the thing I want to do. Like when I realized that, I moved out from my parents' place, and I wasn't actually. I was not living at my parents' place for a year before, but. Like I was working in an orphanage, then I should have moved back into my parents, but I was like, no way. Because I know they're like all my friends and stuff, and they're super cool. I love them, and they are still my friends. But I was like, I want to put all my time and effort into this research I want to do. So I moved to my grandparents, which is like 500 kilometers away from all my friends.
Oh.
Like it's a little village where I know nobody except my grandparents. It's like the perfect place to have, like, there was nothing I could do except work, and I worked every day for 12 hours for like a year, and it's like before I came here, and it was super cool. But you know, I did this alone. Like I was there, I had no friends. I had just like, it was just like my thing. Of course I have my friends from at home, but they were like oh, Elias is really different now. Mainly I was there and working, and now I'm here, and now I met such cool people with which I can discuss. Like there are so many nice people I can have like deep conversations with, and this is why I think it's amazing to be here. Tell me about your goals. No,
I think we discussed it a bit right now, and I tried to mention it as we were speaking. I actually was a little bit nervous after you asked me to prepare on this specific topic for the podcast, because I was like, oh great, this is exactly what I've been like anxious about for the past 2 weeks, you know, and now I have to speak up about it. And it's definitely something that, you know, takes a lot of space in my mind. And when I sat down, I was like, okay, what are my hopes and dreams? The first thing that came to my mind is that I'm focused mostly at this moment on my mental health. And this is something I had to learn. And in some parts of my life, I really forgot about it. And, you know, it was just go. Like I have to go to the university. I have to be here. And I have to put like so much work into it. And it has to be uncomfortable and it has to hurt. And because, I don't know, this is how you achieve goals. But lately I realized that isn't necessarily the way. That you can still achieve your goals by working hard, but it can be comfortable. You can have your mental health as your priority, and still develop yourself. I don't know, academically, and in all other direction as well. So yeah, I think this is like the baseline of my goals, to just always remember to be kind to myself, no matter what I'm doing at where I'm going. And then from this thought, like a lot of other goals pops out. So the thing I told you before, that my goal would be to bring this humanistic and also feminist approach to the field of technology. And I find this course very inspiring. So I think I would like to continue my roadway in this direction. So I want to stick to do something with technology, maybe media. We'll see. I still have some time to decide on that, but to remember, my principles, and to not just work to make money, but to work to make an impact and be the change.
Okay, so basically, the first goal, to care about your mental health, it's pretty similar to my second one. So just to be happy on the way, it's pretty much to be happy. Just is this right, or you can just tell me if I'm wrong? Or,
okay. Yeah. It's not necessarily to be happy. I would distinguish it as two different things. I would say just your mental health is, being kind to yourself, as I mentioned before, not stressing too much, not, making yourself feel bad over small mistakes or inconveniences, and just kind of accept the life how it is. It's not about happiness. I think it's the step that comes before happiness even.
Okay. For me, that's interesting, because in my goals, it's pretty I also believe that you shouldn't stress about things that you can't change, or that you shouldn't, this is all stuff, but it's all my goal finding process was pretty much that I always ask why. Okay, I want to do this, why? I want to do this, why? And the thing that came out in the end, are those two goals. And the happiness goal, it's I want to be happy, and that's why I don't want to stress. I want to be happy, or I call it, I don't really want to call it happiness, because happiness, you could also say, oh, I can shoot heroin and I'm really happy. But it's yeah. I don't know if this is the kind of happiness I want. I want to be fulfilled. I want to be proud of myself. I want to look back and say nice. And therefore I want to learn to not stress about unnecessary things and stuff. So I don't know. I think it's pretty similar goal, but maybe the execution and the result. It's
I think we started from a different end.
Yeah. I think it's pretty that maybe it's wrong, but being happy is the result, and being caring about your mental health is the action.
Yeah.
And you have the goal to do the action, and I have the goal to achieve the result.
Exactly. Yeah.
But it's pretty similar. Okay, and the second one is to make a positive impact in society. Basically.
Yeah. Or, in society, locally, how I explained at the beginning, with my podcast, that it was just, a teenage project that never really got its closure even. But, there were those girls that came up to me, few, 3 or 5 I could name. It's not big, most people maybe wouldn't even call it an impact. But it's still something, a little push. And I want to at least be able to do the little push, and if I had this goal in mind, I know I will. I just don't want to lose it, But my goal isn't to change the whole society and the whole population. It's to act locally first, and then see what happens.
Okay, so your goal is not to make as much impact as possible, but it's just to.
I function by a principle of think globally, act locally. So I will be thinking about global issues and big issues, but in my mind, a way of implementing them starts very locally, from maybe small communities first, and then moving up to the bigger communities or society. But yeah, the goal itself isn't to first make a huge impact, you know, to be next Malala or something. It's just to make a change, and then I can work on it, I can improve it, I can make it better, I can inspire more and more people, I can expand. Yeah, but that's for later.
So, tell me if I'm wrong. The goal basically is to make
it's to be the change. I think that there's a clue in the word be and not make. Because I believe through the way you're speaking, you're presenting yourself, your little actions in your everyday life, you can already be a change. You can like inspire people every day or give them courage. Just by, I don't know, being brave enough to say something or to do something that other people were afraid of doing. And yeah, that's the goal, to be the change. And whatever I'm doing, whatever action I'm doing, whether it's a podcast, whether it's starting my company that's going to act on a bigger scale, whether it's, I don't know, pursuing a PhD and doing some research, is to the think of like the thought of being a change.
So, okay, now you tell me if I'm wrong again. You want basically you want to make the biggest possible impact, but positive impact, but the best possible way, or like in your opinion, the best possible way to do this is to be like do you want to make a change, but the best way to do this is to be the change, because not only because it's a good way to make impact, but also because it's a if you like try with a giant goal right away, it's like this way you can like build it up slowly and like increase the impact over time. And is it this, that you think this is the way to make the most possible impact, or is it that you really say?
I think it's not about quantity and how big the range of the impact will be. It's about the quality of it. And you can really, you know, kind of control the quality if you act first locally. So in the community, no matter where you are at the moment, you should still have those same principles and act in some sort of way that wants to improve not only yourself, but others around you. And I think, do you understand more where I'm going with it now? It's the goal isn't the biggest possible impact. I don't want to change the whole countries. I just want to. It's kind of more of a way, like with you. You know, like to never truly accept the status quo. To always also ask questions like why, but not why I am doing something or why things like that, but like why and how. And okay, this is like maybe a new system, but how are people feeling underneath them? Like how they can even feel better? What are other risks that might happen, and maybe what are the ways to eliminate them?
But why, why do you want to, like, maybe it's just my thinking that maybe I have like a too rigid thinking because I'm still didn't had enough crisis or something, or I'm not, but like I mean like philosophical like thinking about it and like coming up with new ideas. Yeah, like this. I mean, like meaning crisis. So because I'm really rigid. Like I say, okay, this is my goal, and I want to achieve it as much as possible. Like I say, if I would say my goal is to make the most possible, like my goal is to make impact in the world. If I find an argument that this is a meaningful thing to do, to make a positive impact in society, then I would say, okay, then I want to make the most possible impact in society. Like if I say this is meaningful, I would say, why a little bit, if not like. Why not go all in 100% and try to make the most? Why not for you? Like, what is?
I think this is what I say with the things of acting locally, and okay, so maybe not think about it as getting the biggest impact, but the best impact.
Okay.
And this could be helping one person, but like very, very well, for example, because I believe that kindness is spreadable, and if you help even small amount of people and you inspire them of helping other people, then it will go. But I can't say that this is me who single-handed did this impact, right? It's more of like avalanche of kindness and of change or of helping. I'm just gonna act in my community, and I want to do the best for my community, whatever my community means. It's the range of it will depend on my stage in life. Like it was just my high school, probably back in Poland. Right now, I'm not sure, but I guess I feel already that it's going to be bigger, even if we think, for example, just the whole university. It's already a bigger scale, right? But just act in your communities and try to improve your small communities as much as you can. Learn from like the behavior and what's happening and the dynamics of it, so you can understand better like the dynamics and changes of the world. And only then maybe I could switch my goal to being the biggest impact. Is that more clear now?
Yeah, this is clear. Like, it actually, like, maybe it's just a different way of phrasing it, because I believe, like if I would want to make the biggest impact, and I still say like this, the thing you do is somehow to make the biggest, like the way you explain it, it is the way to make maybe to make the biggest impact, because you like when you say high quality impact, it's like it's not about it's not all about quantity. It's not about like making a little impact for 1 million people. It's about making like making the best, like the most possible impact overall. And if you make a really strong impact on one person, it can be more impact than like a little impact on 100 people. So and it's also like a training effect, like you explained. Like if you start small, you can build up from there. So maybe this is the way to make the most possible impact. Yeah.
Also, I believe that we're like little experts of our communities, kind of. So it makes the most sense for me to start acting with them, because you understand your surroundings, its needs and desires, and where things are not really working. So I think this is the place where you should start with your action, and not on the other side of the globe where you don't really know what the situation is. Right? You might get there someday, but the first step and the first goal is to act just locally.
Yeah, I think I really understand now, because this makes sense. Like, yeah, in your community you have the most knowledge, you can make the biggest impact. It's also not a like crazy big goal, super big goal to start, because you can like build up slowly and you can increase later. And so yeah, basically it's an argument for why you can make or if you want to make a positive impact, it's a good way, maybe not for everyone, but for a lot of people, to start where they are, right in their surrounding, and start spreading the positive impact and growing with their challenges. Nice. It's super interesting. I have one closing question that I want to ask. I have to. I'll ask the question, and I will turn on the light again for everyone that's just listening. The lights are always going out and on and off in this room. But okay, so the closing question is just: do you have like any piece of, like, for example, a book or like a YouTube video or a podcast or like any piece of like knowledge, any piece of media that you would really advise people to read, watch, whatever? Advise me, like something you really like. All good. Take your time. I will take them.
Oh, yes, because the thing is, I do, but I don't want to mess up the name. Yes, okay, this is what I thought. It's the book that I've been reading, and I think it's gonna be connected in our talk today, and I wanted to recommend it to people for the longest time. It's a book by Ullman. It's called Life in Code, A Personal History of Technology. And yeah, so a little bit of backstory. When I came here, I felt a bit, lost, a lot of imposter syndrome, starting programming and all of those technical stuff without being really great of it by first try. And it is a pretty male-dominated field, right? You would agree. Technology, most of our professors as well, even though I really like it about our program, that I feel it's 50-50 in students, and there's like some amazing, inspiring...
CSI is 50-50.
I would say probably not exact numbers, but the way I feel it when we are in class and from the people that shows up, it seems pretty equal, and it could be 60-40 or more, but I don't feel that overwhelmed with all of the men around me. But still, I needed like a little help, so I Googled some book recommendation of female authors in AI field, and I stumbled upon Ullman, who is not only a writer, a very good one, but also a programmer. It's an American programmer from the 80s, if I don't want to lie to you.
All good.
But I think she could have started her career in the 80s, maybe a bit later. You can check it right now, please. Yeah, please correct me. But it's a book that it's made out of mini essays about her life as a programmer, and it's absolutely amazing because she adds this female perspective to stuff, and she talks about her work, how she is surrounded by only male coworkers, and how they like smell bad sometimes, or they don't understand her jokes, or the opposite, she doesn't understand their jokes, but she still finds her way around it. It's also essays about very human things and emotions like loneliness, but just wrote in a way that it's just her exchanging email with another programmist at 3 a.m. in the morning, instead of having a party downstairs with the rest of her family. And yes, I would really recommend it to everyone, not only women, also men, to just grab like a little bit of perspective. I know it's not up to date, because her essays, did you find from when they are?
The book is from 2017.
Oh yeah, the book is just published, but she wrote her essays like her diary.
So wait, you want to have the date of her diaries? Because I didn't find when she started programming.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, the book is very interesting because basically it's part of her diaries, kind of as from the days she was a young programmer. And she took those informations and now made them into essays. And she talks about conferences, like big American conferences that were very crucial in shaping the technology, how we know it today, and how she was attending them or being a speaker on them, also as one of not many females. So yeah, it's brilliant.
Nice. I didn't find it. Like I can't tell you when.
Okay,
it's from,
let's just assume it was the 80s, just for the sake of me being right.
It's probably the 80s. But nice. Okay. That's perfect. I think that's a really cool way to end it. Thank you very much. That was a really interesting conversation. I really liked actually also the part about feminism. It's
really
super interesting. Yeah, okay. Because I didn't know that we were talking about this, but it's interesting to hear about this. Like, I want to learn different people's perspective. Like, we talked about this today, and it's I think it's cool to just hear what other people think about this.
Yeah, it was a pleasure to talk with you. Thank you so much for the invite.
This has been a Rational Optimization podcast. I hope you learned something. As you may know, I'm trying to make this podcast as good as possible. Like, I'm trying to provide as much value as I possibly can in every episode to you. So today I'm not asking you for like a 5-star review or anything like this. I'm asking you, could you please, if you have any idea what I can improve to make this podcast or to make each episode or to just make this episode, if I would do it again, more valuable to you, can you give me feedback? Like on Spotify, there are those feedback boxes, and on YouTube, you can write a comment. It would be really amazing if you would help me to make this podcast as good as possible. See you in the next one.